wanted to give a few tips on how to increase your water intake throughout the day. I am now 6.5 months pregnant, and so it is super important that I'm getting lots of water. And even though I love water, I find it really challenging to get in all of the water I'm supposed to be getting in each day. And I came up with a few tips to maybe help some people who are also struggling to increase their water intake, whether you're pregnant or not. So let's get into it. So my first tip is ask yourself why you don't like water, or like what's holding you back from drinking water. A lot of times this answer is a lot deeper than just a surface answer of maybe like I don't like the taste of it. So if you have tried different kinds of bottled water or different kinds of filters and none of that seems to make a difference, then I think something maybe that you should consider is what other beverages are you drinking. So if you are filling your day with lots of fruit juice and every time you go to drink water it tastes badly, chances are you've been conditioned to expect something sweet and tangy and flavorful when you're drinking it, and so when you go to get your water it tastes really boring. My next tip on drinking water is think about the cup or glass that you're drinking from. So this is really silly, but it is so true. I find that for myself, if I have an open glass of water, like this kind of glass of water, I am less likely to drink it than if I have a cup with a straw sticking out of the top. Now, this seems ridiculous. I'm a grown woman. I should be able to drink out of a regular cup and not an adult sippy cup, essentially. But when I'm trying to drink more water, the goal is to take in as much water regardless of how it's coming to me, and I find that a straw works better for me. So when I was working, I would keep a jar or a cup or a bottle next to my desk with a straw coming out of the top, and I would notice on days that I did that, I would drink a lot more water rather than having to like unscrew a bottle and take a sip that way, because all of those little sips throughout the day do add up, and I found that that was what worked for me. So when I'm home, this is the setup that I like to use. I have given it as gifts to people. It has been like life-changing for me, and it's so simple, but I'm going to share it with you now. So this is just a glass ball jar. This is a large size. It's the wide mouth, and I find that the wide mouth is better for this kind of thing. I actually like the wide mouth jars for everything. I don't really see the point of a narrow mouth jar. So this is the part that I'm talking about. So anyway, this is a big, heavy ball glass jar. I would not want to like carry this around with me throughout the day, but when I'm home or if I'm sitting at a desk, this is something that I would totally use. It measures your cups, so you're getting like about 4 cups in here, and what I do is I get these little ball lids. Here, I'll unscrew it for you. I get these little lids that look like this, and they just fit right on the top of it, and they're very inexpensive. It's by the Ball Company, and you're gonna go for the wide mouth one if you have a wide mouth jar. And I think they come in a pack of 4, either 2 or 4. Anyway, totally worth it. I find them, you can find them online, you can find, and I'll link that for you. I got these at Target, super easy to find. So you just replace the flat part of the jar with that straw top, and then I like to drink out of, I've used a lot of different straws, but when I'm home I really like to use these glass straws. This one is by the company Glass Dharma, and I have a few of these. I actually like the straight straw. They do have a curved one. I don't like that as much, and it is a little bit harder to clean. Glass Dharma also sells like a little mini like bottle brush type thing to clean it, which I find helpful. But really, I usually just drink water out of it. Sometimes I'll do smoothies, but for this setup, I really like the straight up and down style by Glass Dharma, and I really like the way that the glass feels in my mouth when I'm drinking it. Also, I personally don't really like the taste of plastic in my water, and if I'm drinking out of plastic, I can sometimes taste that, and it turns me off to it. So knowing that, I use my filtered water at home, and we have a Berkey water filter, just leave a comment below if you want to know more about that. Maybe I'll do another video. But it's a carbon block filter, which I think tastes the best for us. And then I just fill this big jar up, have my straw, and all throughout the day I'm taking sips of it. The only thing I will say about this particular jar is that, like I said before, it is heavy, and then also because it's the bigger jar, it doesn't fit in my car. So this is the size that I use when I'm on the go. So it's also a wide mouth jar, so you can use the same exact setup on top, but it's slimmer. You don't get quite as much, get a little over 2 cups, but yeah, it fits in your car or on the stroller actually. So that's the one I use when I'm not really like gonna be home all day. And that leads me to my next tip, which is if you're not gonna be home all day, keep some water in your car all the time, but don't keep it in plastic. If you're keeping water in plastic in the car, it heats up, and that could be causing some chemical reactions and possibly putting some carcinogens into your water, which is not good. But if you have your water in a glass container like this, or another glass water bottle, or even a stainless steel one, if you keep it in not a place where it gets too warm in your car, you always have something there. That goes for if you're out and about in your stroller, or if you want to keep a little bottle in your diaper bag, things like that, just to help increase the availability of your water source, because maybe you're gonna start to get thirsty, and if you just don't have anything, you're not gonna drink it. But if you have it there, you will drink it. My other tip about that is to keep water next to your bed. If it doesn't bother you throughout the night, I find it to be really helpful to be able to take a few sips before bed and a few sips first thing in the morning. The other thing that I like to do with my water is sometimes I will flavor it. Now, I'm really not an advocate for those chemical-filled packages of like powder that you put into water to flavor it that way. I really find that to be a little bit counterintuitive in terms of if you're trying to drink more water, you don't really want to make it taste like fruit juice. But a few things that I like to add to my water are lemons. So actually I typically will drink that warm, so I'll just make a big pot of warm boiled water and squeeze some lemon in it, and sometimes I'll even stir in some honey, and we call that tea here. And technically there's no tea leaves, but that is like a tea type drink, but it's very healthy for you, it's very alkalinizing for your body, and of course it's filled with water. The other thing that I like to do to flavor my water is sometimes I will boil a little bit of ginger root into the water, and I can also add honey to that if I feel like it. So that's another way to make a little at-home fresh tea. If I have fresh mint leaves, I like to do that too. If I don't have fresh mint leaves, something that I find that I like to do is I will put 1 drop of essential oil into my water cup. I'm not kidding when I say 1 drop. Literally 1 drop of peppermint oil in a big mug full of hot water is plenty, and I will stir that up. You want to preferably get a food grade essential oil. I'm actually not positive if this brand that I showed you, which is Oracacia, I think I'm saying that right. I'm not sure if that is technically food grade, but you want to get a really high quality one. I'm not a Young Living essential oils person, but you can contact a rep in your area. I know theirs are typically food grade and safe for consuming. So 1 drop of peppermint oil in your water, it completely changes the taste. It is so like relaxing, and it's really calming for your digestive system. So that's another way I like to kind of flavor my water. Oh, I also know people that buy those bottles with infusers in them that put like strawberries and cucumbers and things like that, herbs, all of that. That's what could be considered your natural like vitamin water. Personally, I would rather just eat the fruit and drink the water, but I like water, so that's me. But they do sell those bottles. So my last tip is something that I think a lot of people do. which is try to set a reasonable goal for yourself. And when I say reasonable, that's the tip right there. Setting a goal for yourself to drink 8-ounce glasses of water per day is a great goal. That's, I think, what the average person should be taking in. If you're pregnant, you need a little bit more than that. Whatever your goal is, though, make it reasonable for you. If at this point you're drinking 2 glasses of water or 1 bottle of water a day, drinking 8-ounce glasses is you're just gonna set yourself up for failure and feel disappointed. And when you do that, it negatively reinforces that for you. So it makes you even less likely to continue to drink more water. So if you set a reasonable goal for yourself, say you have a time limit, and say every day when I wake up, before I put any food in my body, I'm gonna have 1 glass of water or 1 bottle of water. And then an hour after breakfast or with my each meal each day, I'm gonna have another glass of water, something like that. Something so that you know that at this time of day, this is when I drink my water. Ideally, it's not best to drink your water while you're eating because it can dilute some of your stomach acid. However, if you really need to get more water in your life, I would just throw that out the window, get into the habit of drinking water, and deal with that later, unless you're having some stomach issues. But I would say that if you're not drinking water because you don't want it to mess up your stomach acid while you're digesting, and then it just never happens for you because you're always eating something, then that's not really that helpful for your body. So think about the overarching goal, which is get in that water. So if it helps you to plan it out, if it helps you to do it by bottle, if it helps you to take like a jar like this and measure out how many you want to drink per day, then do it that way. Don't give yourself a hard time about it. Drinking water is extremely healthy for you. Something that I also find that could be helpful for some people that need that kind of like reasons or need to intellectualize the purpose for drinking water, sometimes that can be really helpful too, like researching just a little bit on like why your body needs the water, how your body uses the water, what benefits you're going to get from drinking water, how it will help your skin health, your hair health, all your organs, how it will help your digestive health, freshen your breath, all those kinds of things that everybody wants for themselves. Sometimes when you do a little bit of research on that and you look it up, you start being able to justify the reason for it a little bit more. So I hope that was helpful for you. Let me know in the comments if you found it helpful, if you do any of those things, or if you have any other ideas on how to drink water. I'm sure everyone would appreciate your tips too. So thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed it, please give me a thumbs up and I will do more videos in the future.